Glasses off, David Cole. Getting ready to rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just flick this here. I just had an Adobe update, of course, right as we go live. Hello, EKN Nation. My name's Rob Howden. That's David Cole. Yeah, I was doing that wrong. We are here for what is our first primetime edition of the EKN Face2Face, which is the program that we launched really during COVID time, leveraging the ability to get live on Facebook and now on YouTube. David, we'll jump into this in a second, but before we talk about how this kind of format is going to work, dude, we got 1,000 subscribers.
We just got it. It was the Andy Seesemann bump that got us to 1,000 subscribers. I think somebody felt sorry and they wanted to watch Andy make a fool of himself. So they're like, I gotta watch YouTube. So
that's a definite possibility right there. So those of you who have been tuning in, we've done a ton of these over the last couple of months. Of course, back in when we had the COVID shutdown, we were doing a lot of interviews, just trying to bring people with the sport together. Right? We did it on IG Live, brought it to Facebook. Now we're taking it all of our videos now to YouTube, and of course, then they'll get turned into podcasts. So it'll be available on the EKN Radio Network, then iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Podbean. But this kind of harkens back, David. This is an old school happy hour with Howden. I've got a cocktail. What have I got here? I got a Firestone Flyjack Hazy IPA. Cole, well, hold on. What a shocker, David. What are you drinking right now?
I have a rum and Coke.
Shocker.
I also have the peanut butter pretzels, as we're used to accustomed in the FTK trailer. So better bring your snacks with it too. That's
it. So it's the happy hour. We used to do these back in the day, back before we were able to do live podcasts and everything. We used to kind of set up at the hotel on a Saturday night. They usually started at a Stars of Karting race. I think that's kind of when we got things rolling.
Or somebody's trailer, or just track time.
Or on the track. We actually would set up on the track at the Super Nationals a number of times as well. And it was an opportunity for us to sit down. We recorded a podcast. It wasn't live anywhere. We would then record it and then upload it. Dave, remember having to upload it to the FTP sites?
Yes.
And that was back mid-2000s. So this is back to a happy hour with Howden kind of a deal. We're going to do primetime shows twice a month. That's the current plan right now. We'll do 2 primetime shows right around that 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern hour. We'll get guests from all over the place. Cocktails will probably fly a little bit here. We'll talk more about karting. But let's jump in here, David. Let's bring in our guest. Perfect, I think, starters debut for the happy hour with Howden here in 2020. From the Challenge of the Americas and the California Rock Championship, Andy Seesemann and Sean Buer.
Four.
Special guest. Oh, look at that.
All right, good.
Oh, wait.
All right. So Andy Seesemann at the Full Throttle Red Bull.
Red Bull. Red Bull. I might need a little more of that.
Eric, go.
There you go. So
that's the end of the Red Bull. I guess I need another one. You go get another one, buddy.
Andy, the promoter of the Challenge of the Americas and California Rock Challenge Championship, and then Sean Buer, who does handles all the social media and photography for the challenge, and also the former editor of Go Racing Magazine, editor and owner of Go Racing Magazine. Let's who do we start with? Buer, there it is, right there.
I think. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So
do you remember this one?
I do. That was a good shot.
The May 09 all FTK episode when I first moved into the shop.
So Buer, what do you got? I got beer. I got beer. Cole's got
Well, the first thing is I clearly signed up to the wrong thing because I thought this was like the fireside with felines, drinking party here. So I mean, I'm not even wearing a karting shirt. Wait.
Oh Jesus!
There we go.
He lost his earbud.
That's okay.
I lost an earbud, but
he's going
I got one.
He's going Odenthal.
Yeah, we went in the fire.
I'm going with Odenthal. And so cocktail wise, I have a beer for Andy, who is now allergic to beer.
Yeah, I really got to rub that in, huh?
I have some Macombo 20-year-old aged rum for David Cole, who only drinks that Bacardi clear stuff.
No, I'll drink that.
And then for my friend from the Great White North, I have a little bit of ice wine going on tonight as well.
Well played, sir.
Nice job, Sean Buer.
Somebody spent a bunch of money at Total Wine.
Exactly.
Yes, it did escalate quickly.
So, dudes, hey, let's. This is a weird thing. It's just a weird time right now, isn't it? Because I know that I'm out here in California with you guys. Things are shutting down again. It's getting nuts. We can't even go to restaurants supposedly now. Even the outdoor. They're shutting down the outdoor restaurants.
Yeah, depending on the counties. LA County.
It's pretty crazy right now. So let's start with Andy. Andy, where did you go today to get some food?
Oh, like
Well,
he ate food.
Luckily, in Orange County, we can still eat outside, which
Okay.
means that's adjacent to a restaurant under an Easy Up. But
If only you were used to eating meals under an Easy Up.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
That's right.
So
Never done that
we did
before.
go to a neighborhood staple, which all three of you have been to, the Salty Dog Cafe.
Great burgers there. I remember.
Cafe, really?
Yeah, I know. It's really tavern, but I wanted to say cafe to make it sound fancy.
Fair enough.
That's tough. What about Seesemann? Have you been cooking at home at least?
Like, dude, you know me.
You can throw down.
We always cook. We're gonna do some. Pulled pork tomorrow. It's been a while. We did carne asada the other day and Philly cheesesteaks.
See, I'm talking that. That's
I didn't actually cook, but on Saturday I had to. I didn't have to, but coming up on 25 years with the wife, and the ring was getting old, so we had to re-up the ring. So we went to downtown LA on Saturday and re-up the ring.
Yep.
Had to put a brand new go-kart chassis on her finger. And then to be fancy, I took her to the original Tommy Burger Shack down on Beverly.
Nice.
Wow. Well played, sir.
After the sun was down?
No.
Oh, okay.
Man. I don't want a death wish. We had Grace with us too, so it's okay. But we did order at the counter, and there's no tables or chairs there. You just eat there up at a chest-high counter with with paper towel hangers right there. So that was the latest great meal, because you got to have at least one of those or two of those a year, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Hey,
but tomorrow's pulled pork because Trevor's coming home from college.
Wow,
and
all right.
And then we got Thanksgiving. So
very nice.
So
very nice.
That's a cooking trip for the day.
So you got the whole family back home for Thanksgiving. Trevor's coming down from Montana.
Yeah, buddy. He just finished up. They moved their schedule a couple weeks early, so they started way in early August to be done by Thanksgiving. So he did his last final today. He's done. And that way they don't have to come to Thanksgiving, go back for 2 or 3 weeks and infect the world, blah, 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 right? So we got him home for 6 or 7 weeks. So
that's cool. So
nice.
hold on. So we know what Seesemann's been cooking. We'll get to Pierre in a second. David,
I was going to say, we got to go to Cole. That'll be a quick segment.
David, what particular frozen pizza did you make this week?
Red Baron?
I made spaghetti for lunch. So that was good.
Out of a can.
I was going to say Chef Boyardee.
Spaghetti.
No.
Spaghetti O's.
And we ordered out today. We had Vitali, so I had pizza.
There you go. See? I knew it. What about you?
I was gonna make tacos, but I didn't have. They wanted to take out, so I didn't make
Taco
tacos.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
What about you, Beer? I knew you've been knocking it out over there.
We've been killing it on a little bit of stuff. The recent hit was pot roast, which is going to sound really weird, but I've never been able to do a decent pot roast, and I slayed it the other day, and it was pretty damn tasty. I think the best of the pandemic feeding was the tomahawk ribeye bison.
I saw that. That looked pretty good.
Yeah, with crispy onions and like a bang bang shrimp on top with a garlic herb butter and nice wine. And we've taken the opportunity to pretty much blow through like Butcher Box, any of the the mail order places that are still shipping and trying to help out wherever we can on getting some takeout here and there. But I mean, bummer, I have to eat steak.
Yeah, so Cole and Andy, this is the kind of food you get to eat when you don't have to pay for kids in college.
Yeah, I get it. I think there is. So
I feel a lot. Ooh, Trevor today's trip to Bevmo was pretty good, right?
Yeah, I bet, right? Yeah,
one textbook worth
today. So our Christmas is always homemade pizzas, right? We make a bunch of 12-inch pizzas.
Yeah.
Roll them on the grill, all day. Today, I think I decided I want to do a primer for Christmas.
Ooh, there you go.
Well, you got that butcher right by your place there. Go get one from him.
By the way,
can you get a refill, Eric? I like it. Well played, sir. While you're getting filled up, I haven't done a ton of cooking out here yet at the RV, but knocked out a paella.
When did you get there?
When did I get here? About a week and a half ago. Yeah, I went up to LAKC this weekend because I needed to smell some go-kart fumes, which was cool. But on Saturday night, I knocked out an 18-person paella. Knocked it out pretty good. It was good. It was really good.
The only time I ever had no, that one, not the other one. Only time I had paella was when we were in Valencia, Spain for the Rotex Worlds.
Yeah.
And they made it with real rabbit. So
That's what I'm talking about.
So that was our actually, oddly enough, that was our Thanksgiving meal in Valencia, I think in 14 for the Rotex Worlds, which
and
is
that
pretty
is
awesome.
that is original paella valenciana for sure. Got to have the rabbit in there.
Yep.
I don't want to talk about my Thanksgiving meal in 2006 in Valencia. No.
What did you have?
We didn't have anything because we were on a train to Valencia.
Oh, that's right. That's true. That's true. From the
You're going from the road.
They didn't have pizza.
No, it was. No, it's a long story, but Valencia. We had a good time there. But
listen, we go to the Rotex Worlds in 2006 in Portugal, and you know the amount of food that's there, the steak and it's interesting food. I'm loving it. You know, steak on a stick and all the fish and everything. We found a pizza place one time, and Cole was, and that was just like a little life for a little bit. Then on the way back to Porto, we had to stop and get fuel for the rental car, and they had a Burger King there.
Oh, geez. Here we go.
Cole and I had been with each other at that point for over 2 weeks because we did the Super Nationals, flew straight from the Super Nats to Portugal. So we're already sick of each other. And he's eating this Whopper like it's the best thing that he's ever had. And I'm looking across the table like, I hate you so much.
not just a Whopper, a gas station Burger King Whopper.
Whopper.
It was better than the ham sandwich we had on Thanksgiving. Believe
me. He was on that thing like he was on his high school girlfriend. I mean, he was all over it.
So hold on, listen. So here to wrap that up, after the Formula BMW World Final, we come back to Madrid for a couple of days before we take off.
Right.
You know, I'm going out. I'm having like late night meals. Like tapas at 2 a.m. David, where did we go for dinner for one day in Madrid?
I went twice. I went to Hard Rock Cafe. I have the shot glass right over there to tell me.
God.
Hard Rock Cafe.
Hey, now, mind you, at that time, my food range was a little bit shortened. It's expanded now.
You have grown a lot on that aspect.
You know,
he's come a long way for sure. There's no doubt about that.
We just had Outback Sunday since we weren't in Vegas, so I had to order my steak dinner from Outback since we weren't in Vegas and got it medium. I used to get well done.
You did, yeah. All right, so
who is that, Eric?
Phone's ringing. I love it.
Phone's ringing. That's typical, right? It's 6:20 at night, right? We're still here, and the phone's still ringing. You know, hey, this was a great day. So I got to talk about today. I have to talk about before we get going. And you said this was going to be 45 minutes. We're 15 minutes in, and we haven't talked about anything except food and booze.
Cheers, boys. Cheers, boys.
We got the best. Right back at you guys.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers. So this was a great day. So I had a couple of old friends stop by, and he's going to poke his head in. Come on in here. So Eric Cullenberg stopped in today, right? Eric Cullenberg, long time, 35+ year go-karter, right? Yep. Worked with a lot of big names. The biggest introduction to our latest group of go-karters is Jordan Musser, right? He's the guy that brought Jordan to the big stage,
That's it.
18 years ago. Man, Eric stopped by, oddly enough. Hey, knucklehead, come here. Yeah, you. No,
I
not
got
you.
narrowed
The other one. So he's in town. He was in town today to meet. He's just taking a vacation. And he was coming to meet Mike Mautner to pick up a bicycle. Mike works for Santa Cruz. He came to pick up a bike, and unfortunately, he's not good to drive home now because we took him on an FTK drive around. Yeah. But what a great day to see a couple of your good old friends, man, from the old days.
And me.
And well, he's with me every day. But to see these beer.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Sean Beer. Where's Sean? Holy shit!
You can see what kind of day it's been, right?
Wow.
These guys are not experienced in the FTK ways.
Man, right. I love that guy.
So I just wanted to say hype out because this is a great afternoon. I just want to say thank you to my two friends for coming by.
Awesome.
And saying
That's awesome.
Right.
You guys are obviously on the pipe all afternoon. That's good. I meant the exhaust pipe. That's
good. I know. You just say hi. Just wave hi. All of a sudden, here goes a Santa Cruz bicycle. Here's the plug. Here's the Santa Cruz bicycle plug. That's gonna hit me in the head.
I need one of those.
All right.
Does it come in man colors?
Does it come in man colors? Sean says.
No, this is man colors.
All right, perfect.
Get on the spike here, man.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We're going to start talking business. Appreciate you guys coming by today. It's fun. Keep hanging out because we got more booze to drink.
There you go. All right. So let's jump into the serious side of this happy hour with Howden face to face because, Andy, we talk about we're kind of like talking about COVID and how we've all been cooking our own food, and Cole's been ordering food in. We've all been ordering food in. Dude, the COVID thing, let's be real. Let's get back to what, March, April, May. You guys are getting ready to start you had this Challenge of the Americas, first 2 rounds, record numbers at Cal Speed. You and I are talking on the Saturday night making smash burgers. Dude, when we get to Sonoma, it could be 170.
I know. Yeah, it's good.
170.
Trust me, I was
right?
super freaking excited for sure.
Yeah, maybe 200. Like, it was just that there was so much.
Yeah,
momentum.
you just don't know, right? You just don't know.
Yeah, so much momentum. Then we shut down, of course, in the middle of March. You're not able to get your finale done. You cap it off with a couple of weekends. Did the best thing to do, but you got to turn around and do California Rock Championship, right? That's a program you knew was going to grow more than it was in 2019. Talk a little bit about about the stresses. You guys kind of rolled the dice and took a race to Phoenix, California Rock Championship, but you went to Phoenix to get a race in because the COVID mandates were a little lighter there. You were able to get a race in, not just for yourself, not just for your crew, but for all the teams and drivers who want to do some racing, get some money in the bank. We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. Leading Edge Motorsports is the industry answer to winning in karting. At the helm is industry veteran Greg Bell, who has orchestrated the success of many drivers dating back to the mid-1990s. Most recently, Leading Edge Motorsports and Greg Bell helped guide Danny Formel to victory at both the Rock the Rio and the SuperKarts USA Super Nationals 23. Based in Lodi, California, Leading Edge Motorsports is the Western importer for IP karting, which includes the Praga and Formula K chassis brands. Leading Edge Motorsports is already looking forward to the 2021 season, which begins with the Challenge of the Americas, the premier winter series on the West Coast under the Rock Cup USA banner. Leading Edge Motorsports is also eyeing the Florida Winter Tour and several other programs. Arrive and drive services to kart preparation and driver coaching are all available under the LEM tent throughout 2021. Greg Bell has been building racing engines for over 20 years, and he's excited with the continuing growth of his new Mega Power race motor building program. It doesn't matter what color your chassis is, choose Mega Power to get to the front. For more information, click over to leadingedgemotorsports.com and find them on Facebook. At Leading Edge Motorsports, winning never gets old. The Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is where out-of-the-box ease and outstanding consistency meet to create legendary races. Briggs & Stratton's history in motorsports dates back to when the first engines came off the assembly line in the early 1900s. Their focus on the grassroots level continues to help build generations of racers. Since 2008, the Briggs & Stratton 206 has gained a following that has the engine powering the largest fields in North American karting today. From the club level and track programs to traveling regional series and national events, Briggs & Stratton competition provides the most exciting racing in the sport. Engineered and hand-built exclusively for racing, every Briggs 206 engine is power tested and serialized before it goes in the box. Karters can take that engine straight from the box to their kart and be on the podium at the end of the race day. To learn more about the 206 engine and to find a North American dealer near you, head to briggsracing.com. Briggs & Stratton Racing. What powers you? Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network.
For sure. I mean, I'll preface this by saying those of us in the promotions business, I don't want to say that we owe the teams anything because we are symbiotic on each other, right? We rely on each other for our incomes. But obviously, we take a risk because if we didn't have races, teams have nowhere to go. So we do need to take a little bit of a risk. We do have a bit of a higher reward ratio when we put on races and have a risk. But yeah, I mean, when we closed down in March, I mean, dude, we were closed here. There were 7 weeks. My front doors were locked. I came in at night. I was kind of hiding from my landlord, so I wouldn't have to pay rent or pay Pay a little lighter rent.
Yeah.
He's not good with the internet, so he's not watching tonight. But anyway, I'd come in at night and fill 2 waters. But I mean, for 7 weeks, I think my gross income was like $4,000, right? Which, after rent and everything, I made $12.
Yeah.
So,
I swear to God, I'm not
Nice. It's the
He's
play
trying to-
within the play within the
well,
Facebook within
Eric,
the live
Eric is
feed.
trying to justify to his wife that he hasn't been out all day with us, but he has been out all day with us.
He's working really hard.
He did. So yeah, obviously when we were out, man, I didn't know what we were gonna do, and all of a sudden, California was still locked down, and Phoenix made the announcement they were gonna have a club race. And I'm like, oh, well, can we do that? So I loaded up my customer Ed Quinn, and obviously my business is mostly on the promotion and distribution side with the tires and the engines and parts now, which is what we just signed on to this year, which has been an amazing thing for the West Coast. I sounded like Trump there, didn't I? Tremendous huge deal. But yeah, so I'm like, Ed, let's go. So we loaded up his car. We threw it in the truck. We drove there. Left at 10 in the morning. Drove to Phoenix.
You went old school in the back of the pickup truck?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, do what
Very
you gotta
nice.
do, buddy. Yeah, that's what you gotta do, buddy.
Hey, that's my 10 mil.
Yeah, exactly. It's everybody's 10 mil.
It's probably Musser's.
Yeah, well, there's that too. Well, yeah, hello with that guy. So we rolled out there. I watched how they ran the deal.
By the way, shout out from Ed Quinn.
Thank you, Ed. Hello, buddy. Good old Ed. Good old Ed Quinn. But yeah, Ed came and raced with it. He raced. He had a good time. I watched how they ran things. I'm like, okay. So that night I talked to the president. I'm like, can we put a race on here? Like, can we do this? She said, yeah. Let me check with the county and see if I can get our permit extended. Yada 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 yada. And by Tuesday, she says, yeah, we're in. So I said, all right, I'm on. So it's worth the risk, right? It's worth the risk. There's a lot of pent up aggression, pent up demand, and we rolled it out. And man, like you said, right? The CRC California Rock Championship started with what 27 entries, Sean. The first.
Yeah, I don't think we cracked 30.
Right. I think we had 27 at Buttonwillow in May of 19, and I think we had 28 at Willow in June of 19. Right. So it's like, my God, there's a fast way to lose 20 grand in 5 weeks, right?
And have the punishment of having to be in Buttonwillow and
Willow.
Oh,
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, well, let's do it. I mean, I got to take a risk, and God bless it. I mean, the community was fired up. They wanted to come, and we crushed it. We had 105 entries. I'm like, oh, okay. Like people want to race. Like we want to get back at this, right? So,
and to put it in perspective, Challenge in the Americas when it first moved to rock wasn't even at that high.
No, we had 72 at our
exactly. So yeah,
right.
With other support classes too.
Challenge of the Americas had 106 at Tucson in January of this year.
Right.
Before we got to 142 at Cal Speed and was going to get bigger, right? So yeah, 105 was knocking it out of the park.
I mean, it was a little bit more than, obviously more than you expected, but more than you really had planned for too, because, not having anybody other, putting on promotions and like this. I mean, you were basically, bird dogging it for everybody else on what all the COVID protocols were, contactless registration, having to wear masks in the pits, limiting the number of people in the pits and everything. And so, I mean, you ended up with 40 people more than what we were really guessing of having to, coordinate all of that with hey, the CRC is a good opportunity to, get this because it's not going to be 1,000 entries where, we're going to have to do this. But it was a bigger bump than what, we'd figured people were jonesing for it, but not to that extent.
I know, Andy, when you and I talked, you said you're going to be pretty diligent. You guys it was really driver and mechanic. That's it, right? I don't think did you?
Yeah, we set a rule. We said, look, we put a rule out there. We said, driver and mechanic. If you're a minor, you're allowed a parent, right? Yeah. So, and we're just trying to. And I didn't. It's a bad term, but I didn't want to be a Nazi about it, right? Because karting's a family sport. But understand, as a promoter, as a guest promoter at a facility, the last thing I want to do is allow 1,000 people in and have Phoenix Club get shut down because of something I did.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially since that place is volatile anyway.
Right. Yep. It's on
the
county
county
land.
yeah.
I mean, you have a lot of, I don't want to say hoops, but obviously it's county land. It's Army Corps of Engineers land. There's
it's
a
in
lot
a
of
flood
things,
zone.
Right. I mean, we've dealt through that for years. Right. But so I didn't want to be the reason why they had any more problems later in the year. So I absolutely wanted to be by the book. You got a little pushback, right? I had some parents. Well, I have a family of 16, and I gotta all be there because right? No,
there's the parking lot.
We just can't. And if you want to stand outside the fence and not come in, I can't control who walks into the outer gate, but I can certainly control who comes in the inner gate. Yeah. Now, obviously, you bend the rules. There's some team managers that they're not a mechanic. We work within our sport.
There was some flexibility.
Right, of course. Yeah. There's flexibility, right? But and then the flip side is then the dads are like, well, God, you let that guy in, he's not a mechanic. But really, like, that's the guy running the team of 12 people who are here. Give me a freaking break, right?
Yeah.
Right. And that's the data guy. Like, okay, I can move a person or two one way or the other. Just don't bring me a family of 8 for one kid card. Right.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is we got it done. It was an unbelievable event. I mean, I got to tell you a little quick side story that, that property is built on a lot of donated stuff. So all the lights are donated. So they're on some crazy 480 electrical power thing. A fuse blew right as our main started, right? A 480 fuse is about the size of this water bottle.
I was going to go with my legs, but okay.
All right. Well, yeah, you are ski. Well, if you're calves, for sure.
Yeah.
So it shuts down, and we're scrambling to find, are we going to have to shut this down? Right. There's no kart race that's without some measure of drama, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Like burnt trailers, whatever.
Yeah,
right?
That was a big one. Yeah.
Right. So one of the dads is an electrician, Chris Hendricks, who's Micah Hendricks' dad.
Yep.
He went out there. They found a spare fuse. They found the thing, and he's opened up the box, and we're looking at it. And I will remember this day as long as I live. And God bless Chris Hendricks. Thank you if you're listening. Thank you if you're not. Whoever's listening, say thank you.
Thank you anyway, Ray.
And Chris gloves up with a rubber glove and pulls the old fuse out. And they're doing it live, right? There's no shutting down 480 power, right?
Nope.
I
do not care. Do not ask me to do that.
Right, ever, right?
Ever.
He grabs the fuse, and he's a very religious man. And he looks up, and I remember this today. He says, Lord, I've served you the best I can in the days I've been on this earth. If you take me today, know that I love you. And he popped the fuse in.
What? If I have to say a prayer before I do anything for you, I quit.
You probably do. But it was, I'm telling you, you guys know me. I'm literally, I have tears streaming down my face, right? This man saved my race, right?
No, saved the season.
Yeah. That's probably more accurate. Right? The lights go back on and people are screaming, right? We're like, by the way, it's not 20 laps. We're going 12 lap mains. We're doing this. The club's
screaming. Because we have a
we can't go past 10 o'clock. I'm like, we're going past 10 o'clock. They're like, you can't. I'm like, we're going. They're like, I'm not. I'm like, I'm sorry. But
you're all green.
Let's do this.
We got it done, right? So what people don't see from all the stuff that we deal with, right? You hold on.
That's it.
You
that way.
You are all on the inside, right? You all see the inside stuff that me, etc., all deal with, right? So it's those stories. You're like, if I had a couple words, I got a couple words to say, but we got it done. Thank you, Chris Hendricks, man. He saved the season for sure. That's better, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, he saved karting on the West Coast because
dude.
Honestly, that was the inspiration of
the dude prayed and
everybody up.
Put the fuse in.
Can do it.
Hey,
yeah.
So how does that race and that moment set the tone for the rest of the CRC?
Unbelievably, right? So the CRC last year, as I said, it was all standalone. We had 2 events with 27 people at them. The third one I had to cancel. And then the fourth one we combined with Calvin Chen's FKC at CalSpeed, right? Which we got about 70, which is Man, if you run as lean can be, which I know how to do, I can get it to about break even, right? I'm not losing any money. I'm not making a dime, but I'm losing the money. So the CRC first year was a great big $15,000, $20,000 loss. Great job, Andy. You're amazing. Right?
Ouch. Yeah.
It was just Beer's salary, right?
That's all.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Yeah.
But man, that race saved it. So this year I had done a deal where I had 2 standalones and then 2 that we had co-opted with Rock Sonoma, where I'm the West Coast tire distributor, so we supply all the tires anyway to the series and the teams. I'm now the West Coast fuel engine and parts distributor, so we supply the parts. So Eric and I came up there with the trailer. We were there for tire and part support, right? We supplied everything. Steve and his crew up at Cameron ran the race. So we did that for 2 races, right? So the next race was June. He ran it. It was great, right? He ran it. They who normally up there average about 70, right? We were almost 100. So again, they got a good bump. We had our guys go up there. It was great because obviously the CRC is a bunch of NorCal and a bunch of SoCal. So we had a nice bump.
But now we also threw in a bunch of guys from Phoenix.
Yeah, right. So now some Phoenix guys came. So it was nice, right? So now we're averaging 100, right? Where last year we averaged 27.
Yeah.
Right.
It was 26 between the 25 and 27.
There goes my 10% growth theory.
Yeah, 10%, right?
400% growth.
Right. Well,
this is regional. It's not international. You don't have to count it that way.
Exactly. And then round 3, because of COVID and because of everything else, we'd moved some dates. So I was able to get a date at Cal Speed. So I said, well, we'll just take a shot at Cal Speed. And Cal Speed was our lowest, but to be honest, it was against the promoter tour at Newcastle. But there were a lot of people that were not going to make that journey. So I said, you know what, let's have a place for them, because August was pretty much shut down here locally. And we had about 70 there. Great. Right. Had a good show. Was able to break even on that deal. Got people. And then we ended the season again at Sonoma with another about 100. Yeah. So I'd say we were pretty close. We were in the upper 90s as far as average. So like I said, went from 27. Right. Even if you average the 70, we had the last one. Okay, it averaged 40, and then got to about 100 at every round this year, roughly. So, from a risk reward standpoint, it was huge for me. It was huge for the teams, and it was huge for the community. I mean, it gave them a place. It gave them, a little bit of. I don't mean to sound so sappy, but give them a little hope. Like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah, 100%. Like, listen, I think that happened everywhere around the country, right? The minute some races started rolling, it's a big, let's say, battle at the Brickyard. Dave and I got a chance to race. I think a lot of those big races gave people hope that they weren't going to be done for the season. They were going to be able to do some of the things they really wanted to do in the summer.
Yeah, and it was all about adaptability. It was taking what it is in the given area that you were working with, and then unpacking all of that into something that you could work with.
Good job with the unpacking, because unpacking is really important right now.
That's what I hear.
You talked about. I just kind of wanted to go into a little bit more about the COVID. You talked about how Phoenix was a little bit different. You're talking about how counties just in LA are different from one another.
Oh yeah.
What were the differences between Phoenix to Sonoma and then Sonoma to Cal Speed? What were kind of the differences? Because even when we were at Battle of the Brickyard, it was okay. Masks were suggested, and then come Friday, it was mandatory.
Right.
And then stuff like that. So it was different all throughout the year for all these different facilities.
Well, you got to figure just the sheer population of where everybody lives in California. Fontana is San Bernardino County, which is one of the largest counties in the entire country, but it's not like the most populated county in the country. Whereas Sonoma was on you figure when we started our lockdown in March, dude, NorCal was the epicenter for all of California. Like it spread out from there, and so it was that place was hit really, really hard, and then. Once California went into it, Arizona is a little bit on the Wild West aspect on, any given day for things with daylight savings time and stuff like that. And then they just don't have the population numbers. So, I mean, Phoenix is their biggest city, and it's nowhere near as big as, San Diego, so they, being on the outskirts there, they were, one, they're a little bit more lenient on their rules to begin with. But then on top of that, they didn't have near the infection numbers, even per capita that we were having
But
in California.
You also have to factor in who owns the facility, right?
I was just going to say that too.
Place like CalSpeed and Sonoma are owned by gigantic corporations.
Right.
Indy, gigantic corporation, right? So you add those levels of liability concerns and lawyers and levels, right?
The races that they don't want to affect as well, right?
Right. I mean, you go to CalSpeed now. So CalSpeed still today has a limit on 500 people maximum for any event, right? So and that right now goes for challenge, right? So I'm still going to have to worry about in January we open there. Say we get 200 entries. I don't know, right? I'm gonna have to go back to one driver, one mechanic, and maybe a parent,
right?
Because 500 people comes pretty quick, right?
Right. Yep.
Right. And where 500 is that an arbitrary number? Yeah, I don't know where the hell does 500 come from, right? It's a freaking 300-acre, 10,000-acre facility, right? You said 500
per square
right?
inch, right?
Right. So I don't know where they came up with it, but it's their rules, so I got to follow them. So, but a place like Phoenix or a place like Willow or Buttonwillow or whatever, or even Newcastle, right? They operate in different parameters. It's almost like Sean said, you have the counties and what's going on in the county, but it's almost who the umbrella starts with, or what corporation, and work down from there.
Yeah, and the connection and the level of connection to the local health authorities or whatever it is. Right,
right, for sure, right.
And if you have to answer to anybody else, because I mean,
yeah,
whether Rob Niles wanted to be open or not, he's not the boss of California Speedway.
Yeah.
So right. I mean, he's limited to what he can do at that facility, and then that facility is limited to what Speedway Corp or whoever owns the entire thing is laid out for across the nation.
And then we go back to the last race at Sonoma, right? The CRC finale at Sonoma. We're having our wildfires, right? So the air quality was horrendous. We sat at Sonoma on Friday, and they shut down Sonoma on Friday, right? We're sitting there because of the air quality, because they won't subject, because they have a limit on air quality, right? There's some rating, right? There's a percentage.
Good news is you already had a mask.
I already had a mask, right? We're already there. But somehow those masks protect the microscopic virus, but not against particulate. But that's another story for another day.
It adds smoke flavor to Angelo's jerky, though. It's okay.
Yes, it does, buddy.
Sure. That's true.
God bless Angelo's. That's the only bright spot. But we were literally shut down on Friday with 100 drivers there waiting to get on track, and we couldn't get on track. Like the whole facility. There was a big West Coast club drag racing show there with 300 entries. Couldn't take the track because the track was closed down.
On Friday.
They called us at 5 a.m. on Saturday morning. Once again, promoter first world problems. 5 o'clock Saturday morning, when the air quality index or whatever got to a certain level, to tell us that we can even operate that weekend. And once it hit that level, they said, yes, you're good.
Good to go.
I mean, dude, wow. This, as everybody knows, right? This year has been horrendous on everybody. The fact that so many of us have been able to survive has been great.
Yeah.
I
want to go back to what a word Sean used, because I want to get into
really.
I want to get into I want to get into 2021 in a second.
Was it douche or unpack?
Yeah.
Well, just the fact that Sean is being quoted, that's hard to believe.
Right? On vocabulary words of all of things.
He used the word adaptability. Right. And I think that was one of the big words, the concepts that you did. Before we jump into 2021, I want to talk a little bit about adaptability, because to be honest, I'm one of the guys that never thought it was going to happen. But somehow Rock Cup USA was able to put on the Rock the Rio event. And
right, but the moon landing happened, so
that's very true. Well, we could talk all about that.
The Earth is flat, right?
And I'm a flat earther. No. To be honest, So this event gets in the books. Rock the Rio, Garrett Potter put in the time, was able to somehow figure out a way to get a race in. And when it was all said and done, I sent him a text. It was just to say congrats and to say, hey, you know what? That event was really good for all the teams in Q4. Right. Obviously, Andy, what you were able to do in Q2 at Phoenix kind of rolled through what happened in Q3, the middle of the year. But I think however Garrett was able to put that race on at the Rio. And like I said, in August, September, I'm like, there's just no way Vegas is going to be able to open up. There's no way this is going to be able to happen, but it does. The race goes on, big success, great racing. But the bottom line is really solid revenue for the teams at a really crucial time.
Oh, I agree. I mean, it's all credit. I talked to Garrett today, and I tried to get him to come on. He said he'd be watching, so I don't know if he's clicked in or if he said hello. But
so him saying no, that explains why I'm allowed on this program. I accept it. It's fine.
So, I mean, all credit. I mean, Garrett and his staff pulled off a freaking miracle, right? I mean, Garrett and Ursula and Robbie Poupart, right? But it's Garrett. I mean, Garrett, I talk as much as whoever's watching this, I know Garrett does not return your phone calls or your texts or your emails, right? I talk to Garrett probably 4 or 5 times a week. I talked to Garrett twice today. But Garrett and I, in some respects, even though he represents, Garrett and I are partners, right? So we take each other's phone calls no matter what.
Yeah.
What he pulled off was something short of a miracle. And let me tell you, for the month of October, that dude probably got 10 hours of sleep, right? I mean, just the worries and the late night texts and the things. Like I'm going to speak a little bit out of turn. I'll give everybody a tiny bit of insight that I can talk about.
We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. Experience and passion. That's what led to the launch of AMAX Racing. Owner Charles Maxwell began AMAX Racing in 2015, expanding the operation in 2019 with a focus on driver development for drivers of all age groups and backgrounds. From top-level drivers to grassroots racers or families looking for a team that will help them achieve their goals, AMAX Racing can guide you with the absolute best trackside service at affordable prices. No matter the chassis, AMAX Racing welcomes you and has the experience to put you on the top of the podium. You can join the AMAX Racing family at the WK Manufacturers Cup Series, Route 66 Sprint Series, and local events around the Indianapolis area. The operation is also set to compete at the Rock the Rio and SCUSA Super Nationals later this season. For more information, contact them at 317-437-5886 or find them on Facebook. AMAX Racing, all of your karting needs under 110. Every winter, young drivers take the leap up to the next class. Whether it's micro to mini, mini to junior, or the big jump from junior into the senior ranks, it's tougher competition. If your son or daughter are moving up a class in 2020, give them exactly what they need to be ready. Professional coaching from the most respected teacher in the sport. With over 30 years of karting experience, Alan Rudolph and his staff at the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy specialize in training young racers and accelerating their skills so that they're ready for the next challenge. Don't just invest in equipment, invest in your driver. Bring them to the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy at Speed Sports Racing Park in Houston and invest in their skill development. Get them ready to take on that next on-track challenge, better prepared than ever. Get ready for 2020 by calling the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy at 866-607-7223. Head to speedsportsracingpark.com to learn more. Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network.
They gave him a plan early, but it was a plan that wouldn't work. Like the state wanted a bubble where everybody stayed at the Rio, stopped at the Rio. We couldn't leave the Rio. Like it was like Shawshank. Like we weren't leaving, right? And
NBA.
they were gonna open the hotel to us. There were going to be one restaurant open, one bar open, not one gaming table open. We couldn't leave. If we left, we couldn't come back. Well, come on, dude. We know our community. One go-kart mechanic has too much to drink, steps out, wants to go to a strip club, comes back. He's not allowed on the property. Give me a break, right? It's not going to happen, right?
We're looking at you, Josh.
Yeah,
Which
Josh. Well, whatever. So, Josh, John, Ingelheimer, Schmidt, whoever. Right? So obviously that was untenable. That was not going to work, right? he had another plan in place, and then the governor released the thing that said, "Hey, well, we're going to be open, but we're going to release it to 1,000 people, and yada yada yada." Right? So they released the restrictions. In that time, somebody called, and I don't know who. We don't know who. Somebody called and complained and said, "Oh my God, this race can't go on. This is a breach of, what's fair, what's right, blah blah." Now, only somebody within our industry would ever call, and that's bullshit. But whatever. Anyway, he worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and got it done. And I can tell you quite honestly that it takes 300 entries to make that. We've all heard it, and we all know it takes 300 entries to make that race break even, right? You guys know, Rob, Dave, it's a colossal amount of money.
Huge.
So
a colossal commitment, not knowing what, finalizing things in September going forward and everything.
Right.
Oh, you're always rolling the dice. You are.
You're always rolling the dice, right? Yeah. And it wasn't a race that had 500 entries the past 5 or 6 years. It was a race that just barely hit 300 last year. So even at its best, it was going to break even. But they took the risk, right? Garrett took the risk and dropped it on the ground. And man, I'm glad he did. It gave the community some hope. It gave the community a ton of momentum. It gave a lot of teams and shops the shot in the arm they needed to get through what's going to be a couple months of this winter, right? It's that event probably paid the mortgage for about 25 teams,
right.
and probably another 100 mechanics.
Yeah, truck payments, trailer payments, whatever,
right? I was blessed. I'm a distributor. I went there. Eric and I, everybody knows this. We have about 4 or 5 Masters drivers that travel with us when they feel like racing. When they don't, they don't. They couldn't race. Eric and I pulled the trailer out there. I had to be out there for marketing reasons, because I like to talk to people. You know me. We set up the trailer. We set up the Easy Up. We set the full bar up, and we called our trailer the emotional support vehicle. If your driver was pissing you off, come on by. We got some music playing and a cocktail.
Did you wear a vest? Did you wear an emotional support vest?
No. I had my FTK vest on.
But, he didn't need to be cleared through TSA. He was okay.
Exactly. Right. So people just came out and hung out during the day, hung out at night. I mean, I had so much fun. I had no responsibility. I made no money, but I had no responsibility. I had the greatest time. I had the whole race staff there 2 or 3 nights in a row at the end of their day being yelled at and everything else. They came and had some whiskey and some vodka and some beer and just freaking laughed for a couple hours. I mean, it's perfect, right? It's what I do. It's what I'd love to do, right? Yeah. So it was great. The success of that event, if that doesn't build rock momentum for 21 and the years to come, I don't know what does, because man, we know who put their balls on the line and got an event done when others wouldn't. So all power to Garrett, and thank you.
Oh, for sure, street cred, like that has to echo through the halls of karting on that. They had the
halls of karting.
Yeah, exactly. Woo! the intestinal fortitude to roll the dice, to throw it out there and go with an event at that kind of level. It's one thing to risk it to go to PKRA and versus renting the Rio.
Yeah, it was for me. It's just such a weird deal because you never know with COVID. If there's one good thing, it went the right direction, because had it gone the wrong direction, man, that would have been ripples the other direction potentially, right?
But it didn't, right?
I know, but it didn't. Yeah,
it reminds me of 08, and when I started the challenge in 2008, right? And I had and 08 was a freaking nightmare, right? My original schedule was Moran, Sonoma, and Xplex. And a month before my first race, Moran closed. They finally closed the deal. So I had to move it to Willow. Great. Moran to Willow. Awesome, right? Then I go to Sonoma.
Super similar.
Yeah. Then I go to Sonoma. We pull off one race day, and then on Saturday night, a freaking hurricane blows through and destroys the paddock.
That's right.
Right? So we cancel Sunday because there's a freaking 18-inch river running across the whole track. The third weekend
is sheep poop, if I'm not.
And sheep poop. The third weekend is at Xplex, which hadn't held a race in 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? Which I had like a sideline wink deal to even be there, right? So I didn't have a track rental, but I paid Jerry Henderson $5,000. God rest his soul, R.I.P. Jerry Henderson. $5,000 to go and clean up the track. He got some guys at Home Depot and a bunch of equipment and bulldozed the paddock. And I'm telling you, dude.
What? I didn't know this. I haven't heard this story.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
dude.
I have not.
He went there like 6 weeks or a month before, bulldozed the paddock, got it flat again, painted the weed whacked, mowed the whole thing down, got the facility ready to go for us.
Wow.
Right. Here's the best part. So, the fire marshals in Vegas are super, super tough. Super tough, right? Hence, Garrett had to park for my fuel tanks this past week because the new fire marshal decided he wanted fuel tanks parked for me.
Okay.
Right? Which added a whole nother dynamic, right?
Yep.
So I didn't have fire marshal permits. I mean, you talk about rolling the dice, right? And I counted on calm down. Calm down.
Wow.
Not that big. Not that big.
Not my problem. Not my problem.
Not my problem.
Bitches. So I relied on a racer's dad. There's a longtime racer, Mikey Herta, who won the Rotex Nationals back in 2002 and 2004. And so Mikey's dad is well known in Vegas, and he's friends with Oscar Goodman, who's the ex-mayor of Vegas. Oscar Goodman was the ex-mob attorney in Las Vegas, right? Through all remember the movie Casino? He was the guy who represented all those guys.
All right.
So I couldn't get fire permits. I reached out to Nick. He goes, all right, I'll reach out to Oscar. So a week before the race, Nick calls me. I'm like, hey, we're doing fire permits. He goes, Oscar says there will be no fire marshals working in that area of the county when you're there.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Right. Wow.
Wow. All right.
So Sunday night, when the race was over at Xplex, the first year of the Challenge of the Americas, which everything was on the line financially for me and my family, right? We pull these races off, and Sonoma gets canceled because of a hurricane, yada, yada, yada. We pull a race off at Xplex with fire marshal looking the other way. I literally sat on the hay bale and smoked a cigar and cried. I'm not afraid to admit it. If Garrett didn't have that same emotion on Sunday at the Rio, I don't know what he had.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
he had to, for sure.
Yeah.
Right, for sure. I mean, he probably bawled like a little bitch, and I'll probably remind him of it, and he should have, but that's okay.
All right, so let's wrap that up. Amazing. Yeah, let's go to 2021, and literally some news starts rolling out immediately. And I guess
I love the fact that we're halfway through our script, and we're 49 minutes in, and you thought this was going to be 45 minutes talking.
Well, I didn't realize
no one's watching anymore. We lost them at like 37.
All right. Perfect.
Listen, this works because you being the West Coast distributor for the Rock program, Andy. Let's briefly talk about the new tires. Levanto tires from LeConte, a new branded tire. You guys go from the Bridgestone Rock Cup does to Levanto. We're rolling out with the Challenge with the new rubber, right?
Yes, absolutely. So my tire, the tires just got there this week. Obviously, the shortened week is affecting shipping. Yeah. My tires are due to leave on Monday. My first batch of, I don't know, what is it, 6 pallets, whatever that is, 2,000 tires, I don't know, are due to leave on Monday and get here probably by next Friday, maybe the Monday, next Friday, obviously, right? The 5th or whatever it is. Yeah, Levanto's a big deal. I mean, obviously, Bridgestone was a longtime partner of Rock, but they made their announcement just recently. Was it 2 months ago that they were getting out of karting or whatever? And let's be honest, that was the one complaint about the Rock program was some of the tire issues we've had, and I won't shy away from it. We've had some issues. There's been some separation issues. There's been some complaints. So it was hilarious to me when Bridgestone made their announcement, and people would call me and go, dude, what are you going to do? Your tire guy's leaving. I'm like, MF, that's the one thing you ever complained about, you whiner. That's the one thing you complained about to me after every race was the tire. And now I have a chance to change it, and you think I'm going to be sad, right?
Yeah.
So, obviously anybody knows Mr. Robazzi, or even if you don't know, he's a businessman, and he wants things under his control. And there were only a few manufacturers that he could go to. And a few people said, why don't you go to the tire brand that a lot of other programs are on, that tire brand that's built in Brazil? And I had to bluntly tell them, understand that no manufacturer can take on, I don't know, another 60% capacity, 60% of manufacturing over its capacity. Like
that's the first check for sure.
Right,
Yeah.
right now.
Right now. Yeah.
Right. Like it has to be done in a month. Like you can't take 6 months to ramp up. By the way, MG, I know you're making, I don't know, make up a number, 500,000 tires a year. You got to make 900,000 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't even know the numbers, but you understand my point, right? So he has to go to a manufacturer that can accept it or can adapt quickly, right? So LeConte has 2 factories. They have one in France and one in Italy. The one in Italy is literally a half hour from OTK Vortex. So how hard is that?
There, of course. Yeah.
How hard is that, right? Yeah. You go there, you have some measure of control, you make an investment, you get the production and the control-ish you need, and you move on, right? Yeah. The LeConte tire or the Levanto, which is based on the LeConte that they have been using for the European Championship this year. That's the baseline for the tire. Okay. So I don't know much about it because I still haven't had one in my hand. I don't know the durometer. I don't know the sidewall. I don't even know the cost.
But right? It's a rock specific tire.
It's now called it's called the KRT, right? It's not the Levanto white. It's not the Levanto red or whatever it is. It's the Levanto KRT. Obviously the pricing is going to be similar, right? There's no tire that's $140. There's no tire that's $290. They're all in that $220, $230 range,
whatever it is,
right?
Right there. Yep.
That's what it costs. So to everybody calling me asking me about price, it is what it is. You're going to buy it. It's going to be within that same range.
Exactly right. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm due to get the first batch of tires here. Let's see, they're probably due to leave Florida next Monday, which is the 30th. So I should get them by the 4th or at the latest the 7th. Is that the Monday?
Yeah.
December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah.
Right. So, which is also Larry Bird's birthday.
Great shooter.
And it all comes back to that.
Great shooter.
It goes back to basketball, buddy.
French lick, baby. French lick.
French lick, the hick from French lick. But so yes, we're excited, man. I mean, we're excited for a tire that hopefully won't have any separation issues.
There you go. Yeah.
Like all tires, like funny story about tires, right? So Buddy Rice and I go way, way, way back, right? So Buddy and I, we're talking one day years ago, and he says,
Nice, Dave.
I know. There you go, Dave. Good job. His bill's way flatter than that, but
black
that's okay.
Socks. Yeah. My black socks.
Yeah, there you go.
I got flip-flops, but that's because we're in SoCal. How's the weather, Dave?
Yeah.
It's snowing today, actually. I sent you a picture.
You sent us a picture of snow on your windshield.
Wait. Oh, let me turn down the fire. It's getting too hot. Oh, wrong way.
I hope you burn your nipples.
But when you were complaining about tires one day, right? Because every manufacturer's had tires, right? I mean, think of Newcastle a couple years ago, or Pat Sagers a couple years ago, or Bridgestones, or
25
whatever.
years I've been doing this. There's always tires.
Tires. Buddy Rice literally told me, he goes, do you know why IndyCar teams scuff tires? To make sure we don't get a bad set. Like, we scuff the tires. If there's a shitty set, we throw them out, get a new one. We scuff another set, right? So tires are tires. Because of the rubber and everything else, it's like a natural breathing thing. So there's no perfect tire that has no issues. You deal with it and you move on, right? So did Bridgestone have a few issues that more than we wanted to deal with? For sure. Did this come at a good time? Absolutely. Right. Did it check off probably 3 of the 4 boxes that Mr. Robazzi wanted to check off? Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'll have him here in 10 days and we'll go from there.
So boom.
One of the things that's going to change with the new brand.
And Rob's like, we got to try after the
90-minute show.
Keep going, Dave. Dave, talk for another 20 minutes. Let's hear about
it. All right. All the classes are going to be on the same compound because before Bridgestone, and we typically see that with most of the series in karting, is some of the slower categories or younger categories have a harder tire and the faster categories have a softer tire. This brand will be one tire compound for all categories, correct?
Yes, and I have not done, like I said, I have not touched the tire. I have not seen the tire. So I don't know how that impacts the cadet categories.
But for you as a distributor, it's got to be a lot easier
Oh, it's 1,000 times easier. I mean, it's less SKUs, right? So you think about from a dealer standpoint, if you have 2 compounds of tires, right? You have fronts and rears that match for your tag, for your 125 classes, your tag and your shifter, right? But then your hundreds use this tire, which is over here. But then your cadets use this front. But then you also, right? So you have to get, 500 of these, 100 of these, and then 150 of these and these, right? So it's like the programming and the management from a distributor and dealer standpoint is, I won't say a nightmare, but it's difficult, right? And it's hard for dealers, right? The distributor and the importer is the importer, right? We got to carry what we carry. But a dealer who sometimes needs the tire money to pay for their other tire bill, I mean, we know how a lot of dealers have to operate to eke out a business in this sport, right? If you have to now carry 4 different SKUs, but vastly different numbers in all of those different SKUs, and predict and manage and program, that's not a skill that a lot of dealers are really proficient at, and it's a level of capital that not a lot of dealers have.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
so
very much so.
Yes, where we don't know, but maybe the 4.5 tire may be a little fast for the cadet. I don't know. It's still so much easier from a business standpoint for dealers to manage. I mean, does that make sense? Especially when you have dealers that now you're right. There's no one program in the United States, right? We obviously have 2 really good programs, right? So there's another program, right? The other program has 4 SKUs, and there's our program that has 2 SKUs. So now there's 6 SKUs of tires dealers need to manage, right? And then if they race here in Southern California with Tri-C, now they have Hoosier. Now you have the LO206 tire with Hoosier and the tag tire with Hoosier. Now you have 10 SKUs of tires that a dealer has to deal with. Yeah. It's just hard to manage your capital and to get in and to make sure all your programming is right at the right time. So yes, David, whereas we don't know what the speed of the cadets are going to be, it's what's going to exist right now.
Well, and there's room for development and down the road, obviously, because it's not just USA, it's global. Right. So all the different Rock Cup programs across the world are going to be able to give feedback on how it performs with mini, micro, shifter carts, senior and junior and masters. So it could be 2 years down the road. There could be a new compound even.
If that tire proves to be too fast for cadets, then we introduce 1 new SKU, and there's a cadet SKU, and then it's not as bad as introducing 4 new SKUs, right? Yeah, it's just making it all work, right? And that's, as you know, Rob, right? I'm going to point to Rob. We all know this, but right, the hard part about this business is making sure the business makes sense for the community, and we all have to operate within what works for us, right? What the end user sees as what's perfect is not what the business owner sees as perfect, and it's way different from the promoter, right? We're all different, right? Yeah. But we all need, not one of those pieces would exist without the other piece. So we need to make sure it's at least 75% of what's right for everybody.
Well, I kind of always a little bit lean to the industry, because a strong industry is what you need to have a strong participation base, right? Correct. If the industry's not strong, the participation-based drivers have to kind of give up a little bit every once in a while to make sure that the industry is super strong, because that's the base, that's the solid that they need to make sure the sport keeps moving forward.
Absolutely.
We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. There's simply nothing like entering the tunnel at the Daytona International Speedway, and Margay Racing is proud to provide a unique opportunity for Ignite racers in December. This year's Daytona Kart Week, hosted by the World Karting Association, opens the door for this chance, and Margay is offering up a 3-2-1 prospect. 3 days of racing, 2 different tracks, all with 1 kart and 1 set of tires. The Dash at Daytona is providing Ignite drivers in senior, masters, and junior with the opportunity to race at both the 24-hour Roval course with the WKA Road Racing Series and the traditional sprint track for the WKA Manufacturers Cup Series program. Ignite Karting is a spec package that includes the Margay Racing chassis mated with the Briggs & Stratton 206 engine package and the Hoosier R80 tire. It's all made in the USA. Everyone in the junior, senior, and master's classes utilize the same Ignite K3 package, which puts the emphasis squarely on the driver. This unique and historic Florida event kicks off the 2021 Ignite Majors schedule. Learn more about the exact details for the Dash at Daytona, along with Ignite Kart packages and arrive and drive opportunities at ignitekarting.com. Get off the couch and get on the track this year. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion. Acceleration Kart Racing is your first and only stop on the internet for karts, parts, and safety gear to get you on the track. ShopAKRA.com offers a great selection of karting equipment on a user-friendly website. Acceleration Kart Racing has aligned itself with many of the top manufacturers and distributors in the sport to ensure that all the latest equipment is available to you, the consumer. With customer support available 6 days a week, you can be confident about getting the right parts at the right price. Be sure to visit shopakr.com today or stop by their headquarters in Las Vegas. Also, follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest specials, clearance items, and new products. Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network.
Absolutely.
All right, so speaking of moving forward, we'll stop David from the next tire question. Let's go to 2021, guys. We start with the Challenge of the Americas. And for the first time ever, or how long?
2 years ago, we actually started at Cal Speed.
Did you really?
Yeah. Remember, we started in February because the whole calendar kind of. Hold on, watch it. Yeah. Took a little thing there.
No, wait, we're wrong with. There we go. All right.
Right there, Sean.
What do they call that? Forecaster. That's a little nod to Mike and Derek there. Starting at Cal Speed. Listen, you wrap up what would have been, 10, 11 months ago. Great race at Cal Speed, 152 or whatever. You come back to Cal Speed, 142, lots of momentum, coming off what you did with the CRC, coming off the Rock to Rio. Let's just talk about your decision to start at Cal Speed. What was the reason for it? And was it to potentially maybe play off some of that momentum that you built?
I wish I was that smart.
No, he's not.
Look at Rob. Rob just choked. Originally, I had Phoenix starting and Cal Speed at second. And then with all the COVID reschedules and shuffling, NASCAR dropped their date right on top of the challenge date at Cal Speed.
The COVID of the America.
The COVID of the America.
And, what I should have done, like every internet keyboarder, was get on NASCAR's message board and motherfuck Brian France. Oh, sorry, America. And said, how dare you? I thought
for sure I was the first one going to drop.
I know, right?
And
how dare you drop your NASCAR race on top of my race? Which is a story for another day. We can talk about that, right? But yeah, so NASCAR put their date on top of Challenge. So luckily, our new partners at Phoenix, which I know you'll want to tie back into,
our reoccurring partners at Phoenix.
Yeah, for sure. We renewed our partnership. So regardless, they were very happy to be flexible with us. And
can you send Eric to my house because I'm kind of short on booze. I need to make a trip out to the refrigerator.
I need a refill.
Eric,
So they were okay with switching. So I said, hey, let's flip flop the dates. Let's start at Cal Speed. We'll go to Phoenix, and then we'll end at Sonoma, which has been our traditional ender for many, many years. Right? We've taken a break or two, but the sideline benefit is for sure, Rob. I mean, anybody who's in my business knows. You get the Cal Speed bump. You get 20, 25 entries going to Cal Speed, right?
Because we all live here.
Huge local community. There's 25 million people within 90 minutes of Cal Speed. That's pretty freaking simple, right?
Yeah.
There's no track in the country except if there was one built in downtown Manhattan that has that amount of population within that, that range, right? So yeah, the sideline benefit is for sure. We're starting there. And what I hope is, yeah, we start at 160, 170 or whatever. We win it at 140. So to grab another 20 or 30 after the momentum of Rock the Rio, after showing all the cadet dads what we're willing to do, after showing those 100cc parents what we're willing to do, right? The shifters, we had 50 shifters there, right? So at Cal Speed last year. So, I mean, man, if we don't have at least
that cared enough to run in the dark.
Well, there's
Dude,
that
was
too.
awesome. I forgot about that. That was awesome.
Oh, I got another story. So
Which we have solved that problem for this year going into Cal Speed.
all right, so Sean wants to talk business. So no, we're not getting lights. But for this year, for sure, we're going to get 2 ambulances at Cal Speed. So,
Ouch.
So,
Ouch. Good for you on the investment. That costs a lot of money for a potential issue.
Well, yeah. We'll all pay for it. Every dad told me they'd be willing to spend $100 extra to have a second ambulance at Cal Speed. So,
and the good news is they don't have to spend 100.
They're just going to have to spend 50, and that's okay, right?
Yep.
But we're going to bump our entry. I haven't bumped my entry fee up in like 6 years. We're bumping our entry fee up a few bucks, $50. But we're going to get 2 ambulances Cal Speed. We're going to allow camping starting on Wednesday night. We're going to give a bunch of added value to pay for all that. But yes, we're going to have 2 ambulances at Cal Speed. We may even have to start early because of the lights. We may have to start at 7:30 in the morning. I don't know. I haven't plugged in the schedule yet, right?
Yeah, count me out at that. I'll see it at the heat races.
You don't show up till lunchtime anyway, Bureau. It's fine.
He doesn't show up till Sunday.
So, although lunchtime is going to be at 9:30, lunchtime is going to be at 9:30. So,
exactly.
You're screwed. But we're going to do 2 ambulances. We need to take care of it. Yeah, it was a tough year last year, obviously. After not having a red flag, and what do we have? 6 years? What was it? Do you remember?
At least 6 or 7 years. Like, it was an insane amount of time that we'd gone without.
Do you remember, David, or was it Sean?
I can't recall a challenge race having a red flag like that. Maybe one of the first ones we were at we started in 2012.
We had a red flag.
Me and Rob.
Michael Mitchoff at Phoenix.
That was Phoenix. But I'm talking Cal Speed.
I'm talking about in general. Like, we didn't.
Yeah, in general. No, I mean this.
We have a couple here and there.
Year. Yeah.
Nothing major. Nothing major.
It's been like 7 years. This season was, or 2020 season was the first one in like 6-7 years that we had to stop a race. And we stopped one at Tucson for, a minor incident, but it was, on the track and stuff on it. So it was the right thing to do. But, the Cal Speed with, the multiple incidents that we had that, just killed the daylight and everything. But like, that was the first time that we had to roll an ambulance in, at least 6 years.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Well, at least Mischoff wrecked right in front of the ambulance.
There wasn't one there.
Oh,
there wasn't one there.
Was there? Right there. That's right. Yep. Oh, the EMT I think was there. Maybe.
Yeah.
No. So Arizona. I'll tell you an insight. So in Arizona, ambulances are very difficult because they're like $500 an hour because they all run through the county. But when I go to Phoenix or when I go to Tucson, I hire off-duty firemen to work, which are actually far more qualified than 2 monkeys that sit in a BLS ambulance, right? And I hate to say this as a promoter, that's who we hire, but that's who comes in these ambulances, right? 2 EMTs that took an 8-week course at the junior college, and that's who's working these ambulances, right?
And field those complaints to Andy at FTK.
But that's the rule. That's because they come, they perform first aid, and if something happens, they call an ambulance, right?
Yep.
Right. But at Phoenix and Tucson, I hire off-duty firemen to do the job, and that's what's been our savior, because those guys are trained for. Those guys are, as you well know, literally a step below a doctor. I mean, they're trauma surgeons, damn near, right? A good fireman could actually probably do a trach at the scene if he had to, right?
Right.
So yes, Michael Mitchoff's when the firemen got there and they saw him. Do you know the story? You remember the story?
I was there. Yeah.
We
were all there.
They saw something. He immediately went pale. They called the ambulance. They transported him, and it saved his life.
Yeah.
So
and then he came back and raced again.
He came back and raced again. He raced with us.
Not the next day though.
No. That was the last race he raced with me because it was kind of the end of the Rotex years, right? Because he was a Rotex guy.
Yeah.
The first race I got him back was at CRC Phoenix this year. And when I saw him, I went, God dang it, Mitchoff, the last time I saw you at Phoenix, you almost died. And that kid gave me the biggest hug.
You looked like a corpse, and we were glad to see you.
That kid gave me the biggest hug ever, right? When he got hurt, I called, I checked on him. We talked on the phone in the hospital several years ago, right? He's like, man, you don't have to do this. I really appreciate you calling me. I'm like, dude, you got hurt on my watch. Like, of course I'm going to call you. That's right. I'm not a promoter. I'm a go-kart guy, and you're one of my racers. Like, I love you, buddy. So it was good. He appreciated that. He's always been loyal and a good friend. His family's been great. So
let's wrap up the CalSpeed program, and then we'll move on to Phoenix, and then of course a little bit. We'll just maybe talk a little more about that. Then CRC. So hey, first off, when does registration open for?
First couple of weeks here in December. We're shooting for like the 5th to the 10th ish.
I wanted to open December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, but Sean in his other job says he's just too busy.
It opens when I get to it, but we're going to be using the mom system again this year. It's been pretty good to us. We have the occasional snafu, but it's mostly user error that we can figure out right away. So it'll be the same system that everybody's utilizing.
So I've looked at the Kart Pass, and they've showed me Kart Pass, and that's great for the waivers. Have you seen the Kart Pass system that
I looked at it briefly? Yeah.
So it's a great online waiver, contactless waiverless system. It looks great, but unfortunately, it's not conducive with how we do our tire scanning and all the stuff that we've built over the years. So, we're going to give them kind of how we do things and see if they can integrate it. But for now, we're going to do things the way we've always done.
And the way the customers are used to doing it.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and then maybe next year, maybe in 22, if the Kart Pass system, we can integrate everything we do, and then maybe it's fine. Because that Kart Pass system that Rock Cup USA is really slick, right? They enter all online, everything's good. It gives them a thing, and they literally give you a little QRC code or whatever. It's go and they're already the waivers signed, everything's done, right? So you don't have to have all the waivers and all the signing and all the touching, right? So that's been good for them, but I just can't. I'm more comfortable with the way our system is right now. Yep. But yeah, we'll open up here in 2 weeks-ish.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks-ish. But I mean, that's still 5 or 6 weeks before the first event. That's fine. We always close the first one a little early because we got to bring in all the big tires and we got to get containers and all the stuff to kind of get us through.
Once you guys push out on social media, we'll share it out on eCarting News
for sure.
as well. You guys know that's coming out if you didn't see it. All right, so let's move to Phoenix. I know we don't need to talk too much about the finale. Sonoma, it's where you've always done it. Great track, one of the most. You and I always say one of the most beautiful views in all of karting in North America.
You can't beat that. Yeah,
greatest piece of karting real estate, buddy.
Okay.
Greatest piece of karting real estate.
So I'll give you an opportunity to talk about Phoenix. They were there for you guys, or whatever connection you guys made to be able to have that CRC race earlier this year. Back on the schedule for 2021. I love Phoenix. It races so well. It's always a great place to run at. Just give me your thoughts on
solid Thai food.
Good Thai food. You're right. 100%.
We have chop. We do have chop. We got a chop there.
Yeah. Great food trucks.
And
Dad, I look forward to more ghost pepper tacos.
Yes.
The thing I love about both. Right. So backtrack. Challenging Americas in the size of the program and what we have to provide, right? And other national programs, right? When people say, why don't you go here, right? Whether it's to me or Tom or to Mark Coates or to these players, right? Yeah. We have to provide a certain level of facility, right? It can be the greatest ribbon of asphalt on the planet, but if it doesn't have a grid and a scoring tower and a this and a paddock and and an airport within a half an hour, and hotels and restaurants, and so there's a lot of amazing tracks in the middle of nowhere
that don't have in and out for David Cole.
They don't have that you can't get to. They don't have hotels. They don't have restaurants. Right? right? So that's the hardest part. Think of a place like Amarillo, and I'm not disparaging Amarillo, right? Badass racetrack, right?
Love it. Raced there a couple years ago. Love it. Yep.
Hard to get to, right? You got to connect to Oklahoma City, connect to Amarillo, connect to this, connect to that. 4 hotels, a Waffle House, and a Wendy's. You know what I mean? It's like, right? So for Challenge of the Americas, what do I have? We have Tucson, Phoenix, Cal Speed, Sonoma. That's what we have.
That's your kind of wheelhouse, yeah.
Those are our wheelhouse with the weather, with airports, with restaurants, with hotels. That's what we have to work with. So every year, it's always going to be a combination of those 4. When people say, why don't you go to X? I've had people say, why don't you go to Miller? Really? Okay, let's go to Miller in February. That sounds amazing, right?
Hey, as long as we can bring our skis.
Tires.
Yeah. Why don't you go to Grand Junction? Yeah, that sounds incredible too, right? How about Buttonwillow? Oh, the place with the Motel 6 and 1 barbecue joint and an airport an hour and a half away. Like folks, for those of us that do this for a living, we have to manage a lot of different things and just provide to our customers. Go ahead, David.
A destination.
Right?
I mean, in all honesty, you have, because of the program that you have, like you said, it's bringing in 500 to 600 people into one place.
Right.
It's very hard to do that when they're coming from all different corners of the country or North America, and they're trying to go to one place. Like you said, you can't go to Buttonwillow where there's one restaurant.
Well, and the challenge isn't just a race; it's an experience.
Yeah.
Right. You come to be part of an experience.
It's a lifestyle.
Well,
for you it is.
Right. Cheers. Hey, listen, but let's go to a couple questions here. David P has a question. Pull that David P question up.
Oh, for Gandy. It's for Gandy. Give me a break.
Soft shell. Any significant 2021 rule changes to rock or COVID of the Americas?
COVID of the Americas, really?
I got this one. No one's allowed from Katy, Texas.
Oh, there you go.
That was Caddy. I thought it was Caddy.
It is Caddy.
Yeah, so the significant rule change is Levanto tire.
Yep.
And I'll say this: I am looking at changing the fuel, and I'll know probably within 14, 15. By the time we go live on our registration.
Yep.
Meaning that since we introduced Rock to the West, we were on C12, which is what the other significant program in the West was always on, was C12. And I did that to make it easy, right? Everybody had C12 and Motul in their trailer instead of having to have different fuels and different jugs and blah, 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 blah. Well, that program went away. They went to their own oil and went to a different fuel and blah, 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 blah. Right? Well, so Garrett is testing a new Sunoco fuel. Uh-oh, what just happened? Did somebody just post something?
Yeah, it's a Pregande.
Oh, okay, both of you guys giggled at the same time. Garrett is testing a new Sunoco fuel for use next year, and if he approves it, I'm going to go to that fuel because I'd rather be on the same fuel oil as the national program because the other SCUSA is on a different fuel anyway. So if I'm on a different fuel, I might as well be on a different fuel that matches the rock fuel.
No, you have to be on the parity of what the national program is and go from here to there.
Right. So
Sean had the better answer.
David, another question up top there, David, from Sal Menudiato. Wish they would talk about a rock series based at Cal Speed. Andy, has that been a conversation with anybody to have a potential rock program at Cal Speed?
Not really. I mean, Cal Speed does a great job for our community, but understand that these racetracks have to earn a living Monday through Friday, or Monday through Sunday, right? So 2 full weekends of every month, Cal Speed is devoted to making money for Cal Speed, whether it be their Sprint Series, their Ironmans, or whatever, right? So it only creates 2 weekends a month for racing, for what we call racing series, our karting.
Yeah.
Right.
Competition karting,
right? So that's Tri-C and LAKC. I would love to put on 6 race series at Cal Speed. Months just don't have 6 weeks in them.
That's exactly
right.
There's no schedule.
There's no schedule, right? And that's the hardest part. I mean, think about it. We're negotiating right now, right? You have Cal Speed with their stuff, and you have Tri-C and LAKC and Pro Kart and KPX and Sonoma and CRC, right? there's overlaps in all of it, right? So obviously LAKC is a 100% SCUSA program. That's the road they've gone down. That's their destiny. That's fine. Tri-C is what I would call the more user-friendly program. That's my opinion, but they allow a few different tires, a few different engines. It's more the club-based program, right? And that's why Tri-C is getting 140 entries a month and why the other program is suffering a little bit. But that being said, there's just no room for a rock-based program, right? I wish there was. I would support it fully. I would sponsor it. We'd write the check. We'd get it done. But there's just not enough weekends in a month. It's impossible.
Yeah, the CRC is the solution to that, and you're going to get one race at Cal Speed, and then you're going to have to go to.
We can't even get one race this year. I tried to get a date.
Yeah.
We couldn't. Right.
All right, so
the CRC dates. We need to talk about that, right? So look at that
right now. So we've got Challenge America. We've talked about a couple of weeks from now. The registration will open up for the first round in January at Cal Speed. Round 2, of course, February at PKRA. Final round at Sonoma. What does the California Rock Championship look like for 2021?
Looks amazing.
Wow.
Super amazing. Like, oh my God, it's the hottest thing you've ever seen.
Tremendous.
That's tremendous.
Not from China. We're gonna open May 7th and 8th, which is Mother's Day weekend, but I'm gonna open Friday and Saturday. So I'm gonna get. I know Mother's Day is a tough weekend. I understand that. But,
you should be good, Dave.
But it's just finding weekends, right? When you look at the calendar and you see Tri-C, LAKC, Pro Tour, Sonoma, Pro Kart, right? Look. As much as my good Swedish friend don't get along, I don't want to be on top of him. I just don't.
It doesn't help anybody.
It doesn't help anybody, right? So because the guys that ultimately suffer are the guys making $100 a week. Or sorry, a couple $100 a day working in the paddock. Those are the guys that suffer. The team owners suffer when we're all on top of each other. So I do my damnedest to not be on top of people. Trust me, I try. Right, I do not want to be on top of people.
We don't want you on top of us either. just saying.
We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. You've heard and read about us. We are the Rawlson Performance Group. We race to win. Our senior program is the best in the sport, and we have the SCUSA Pro Tour X30 Senior Championship to prove it. Our coaching staff includes 4-time SCUSA National Champion Ryan Norberg, 3-time SCUSA Supernats winner Bonner Moulton, SCUSA Pro Tour X30 Junior Champion, 2015 Rotax Grand Finals Vice Champion, and Junior Development Specialist Luke Selkin, and our hands-on owner, multi-time champion, and IKF Duffy winner Mike Rawlson. This isn't sideline coaching. We're on track, and we dogfight with you. It's like nothing you've ever experienced. You learn more and more with every single lap. Our seniors win races, like Hannah Greenmeyer at the SCUSA Winter Series opener in Florida. And they win because they've been trained, coached, and honed by our RPG staff. Hurricane Hannah is proof positive. If you're a mini driver ready to move up, or a junior driver who's done with running mid-pack, join the team that will develop your skills and take you to the podium. At the Rawlson Performance Group, we turn juniors into pros. In 2020, we'll be racing at the SCUSA Winter Series, Pro Tour and California Pro Kart Challenge, the Florida Winter Tour, and the United States Pro Kart Series, as well as the IKF Northwest region. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. We're the Rawlson Performance Group. We race to win. Technology, design, and manufacturing. These components are what make Kart Republic a world champion. The Kart Republic chassis has earned 2 FIA World Karting Championships. Here in the US, the brand has earned multiple victories and championships in senior, junior, and cadet competition. Kart Sport North America is the country's importer and distributor for Dino Chiesa's Kart Republic chassis, and as a leader in American karting, they are focused on providing stability for the sport and quality products and service for the community. Whether you'd like to find the Kart Republic dealer closer to you or schedule an arrive and drive package with its official North American race team, contact Kart Sport North America through their official website, kartsportna.com. We are Republic. We are one. Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network. Oh, I just got to cheers you on that one.
Thank you very much.
David Cole, almost exactly the same message you just sent me. Wow. So
you're like George. You're like Mr. Costanza right there, right?
Andy, get off of
hey,
us.
I was in the pool.
Get off of us and go to the second round.
Right there.
So 7th and 8th, Button Willow opener. CRC the typical CRC format is the first day is practice, qualify at that last practice session, and then race the next day, right? So
and we did a survey earlier in the year, and that was the predominant favorite among the people racing
for the 2-day people, right? So we did a survey, right? So when people say you promoters, you assholes, don't listen to anybody, we put out a survey. 100 plus drivers, Sean, 110,
135 actually.
Okay,
seriously.
Yeah.
Gabe, I think I even put in answers.
It's got to be like 80%, 90% return rate. That's pretty solid.
Not too bad. It's not too bad, right? But it was a mix, right? There was people that wanted 3 weekends, challenge weekend. They wanted 6 weekends, single weekends. They wanted. I mean, they're like, of course, right? You get this data smattering all over the board, right?
Yeah.
So you do your best. Well, we do our best, kind of look at it and figure out, okay, what do we need? So this is going to be my attempt to satisfy all needs. Now, that being said, whatever racers say they want, they never want. Doesn't matter, right? So first weekend, Friday, Saturday. Friday is going to be out practice, qualify that afternoon, race on Saturday, go home Saturday, be home for Mother's Day weekend, right? It's the only weekend from like Easter to Memorial Day that has no conflicts.
And
right?
hey, Carters. Take care of your mother. She was there with you on Friday and Saturday. Make her breakfast on Sunday morning.
Of course, man. Of course, right?
I'd like to just point out that I got a text from an unknown number, so who's not in my contacts. So please message me your name. I look very tired. I'm glad you're part of this to keep Andy focused.
Really? What's the phone number?
Obviously, Kathy.
Yeah, 714-743-1923.
That's Kathy.
Yeah,
Nice.
I knew it.
Nice. It's
By the way,
right
all
there.
you people do
It's
not
Kathy.
Call my wife, even though I just told you her phone number.
Exactly. Thank you, Kathy.
Rewind.
I'm gonna ignore the fact that I look tired and just go with I'm doing my job, keeping Andy focused.
Hey, happy anniversary to Kathy.
And happy anniversary, you guys. And my condolences. 25
Anniversary.
Years.
It's not till May. May 18th.
Oh, you bought her a ring. I just, man.
Well, that was a little different. She just gave me this seriously. She just you're in trouble.
Nice.
Well,
she's gonna get. You know what? Every karting mechanic's gonna give her dick pics from now on.
Andy,
Fair enough.
Did she get a necklace?
No.
Wow.
There's a Dunkin' Donuts down the road.
I know. You cannot sit in my bed.
All right, so keeping Andy focused. So after we open our series and we're going to CKRKCFD.
All right, where we going with round 3?
Well, round
what
2.
Was round 2? Did I miss round 2?
No, we didn't miss round 2. Yeah, go
okay.
Round two is Sonoma. We're gonna run a combined program with them in June 12, 13, I believe it is. Our combined rounds with Sonoma were a great success this year. We're very happy with how they turned out.
Dude, I want to throw this in there while you're talking about it. A win-win situation.
Oh, absolutely. That's man. You've watched this, Rob, over the last 20 years. Actually, all of us have watched this over the past 20 years, right? Regional programs start robbing from local programs, right? Oh, somebody just got a text. I see the
No, we're good.
Okay.
Josh,
right.
All right.
Hopefully he was in
boy.
for the Josh part.
Yeah.
Over 24 hours. Oh, I saw. There we go.
We got 6 minutes. Wrap this up.
Yeah.
No, we don't. Hell no. We're going.
Whoa, story of Josh's life.
Ice, please. But yeah, regional programs, tend to rob from local programs, right? So this is a way to kind of bridge that gap. We work with the local program, which is Sonoma. Come in. I brought at one of the races. I brought a couple extra staff members, so it helped them out, right? We were there for tire and part support and helped them out. We brought a driver or two, had a good time. So it was a win-win. Absolutely, it was a win-win for Sonoma. The third round is going to absolutely be the crown jewel. The third round is we're going back to Pat's Acres. So Pat's Acres has not had a national, regional type race in how many years? 20 years, Rob?
Damn, yeah. 2002, maybe?
Really? That long? Wow.
Yeah.
So
Eric, bring that over.
I believe I'm getting spruced up.
I believe it's called being roofied, but okay.
He would
Flores.
Flores.
Pat's Acres, when? What's
July 23rd, 24th, 25th. So that's going to be the one CRC weekend that is a like the challenge format. Double weekend, right? Because if folks are traveling that far, I want to give them a little more value. 2 finals, right? Have a good time. But Chris Egger wants to do like a Friday night mechanics, race with his fun car. It's like we're gonna throw a barbecue.
Concession carts.
Yeah. Right. So, if that's the one that I can get the two of you that are on the top of the screen there, I would love to have you. Sean, you'll come whether I want you to or not, or whether you want to or not. I don't know how it all works, right?
It's forced, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I was looking at the schedule.
But yeah, so I mean, there's nothing. There's no USPKS.
What's the weekend?
23rd, 24th, 25 of July. Oh, I don't know what happens with IndyCar.
Nothing.
He's open.
Wide
Dave's
open.
got his calendar right there. Dave's all, oh yeah, we're going to.
All right,
and,
Dave.
And honestly, summer in Pat's Acres there. You got some fresh berries, like
light till 10 p.m. Hey, Rob Howden.
Yeah.
Can I race? I'm here. What?
You have your calendar out?
Yeah, I'm free.
Book it.
Book it. Nice.
What?
Very
Nice.
There we
Can
go.
I race Masters?
I wouldn't call it what you do racing, but we'll see what we can do.
Good point.
Uncle Jimmy will be there, Rob, so you should be good.
No. So yeah, that's going to be the crown jewel for sure. There's a lot of people like Jason Berry. When I told him this the other day, and he about giggled himself for about 20 minutes, right? Jason Berry from Sweet Tech, right?
Dude, that's not hard. Have you met Barry? All
I know.
Hey, here's the kicker. We got to get Jason Lapointe out in the Track Magic.
You know what? What he talked about would be amazing is if he came there, or if they did a Track Magic owners program thing there. All right. So there's definitely other opportunities there to make just an unbelievable weekend. Like I said, the people that don't understand the history or hi Eric. Hi. They're still here. The history of our sport, right?
You're sleeping on his bed.
The place, I know. The place that Pat's Acres has played in our sport, whether it be the 1995 IKF Grand Nationals, which is still to date the highest entry total IKF Grand Nationals ever, right? Or the 98-99 Promoto Tour, right, Rob? I don't know, right?
Yeah. 99, you're there, 99.
Right. So, I mean, there's been so many historic events there, and no national program, let alone big regional program, has been up there in quite some time. It's worth the risk financially, but I really need the community to support it and to come to a place where you can really make an event and a family weekend out of it. I mean, it's as you know, Rob, like it's surrounded on 3 sides by the river.
Yeah, you can do a float after the race there, and and most importantly, we talk about the it being a NorCal and a SoCal series typically with a lot of Phoenix guys that were brought in for this year. The drive from NorCal to Pat's Acres is no longer than the drive from NorCal to Cal Speed.
Yeah,
That's actually pretty close.
I mean, give or take. I mean, it's a comparable deal.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's awesome to be able to do that.
Pat's Acres also the home of the second Duffy for Danny Hodep.
Oh, all right. Good job. Good job. Is she there tonight? Is she his mom?
She's still around here. She's in the rig.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, tell her to at least put her head in. We can see say hi.
Trust me, she'll come rolling.
All right. Let's see me rolling.
Hold on, Pat's Acres. That's I didn't know that. That's a really cool deal.
I wanted to take a shot,
epic.
dude. I want to take a shot. So I'm gonna take a shot and I'm gonna get it done. Big Eric Cullenberg, good to see you, man. Have a good drive.
Look, swearing, by the way.
What?
There she is.
Oh, there's
David's new stepmommy.
I don't know what he's saying.
But there's David's new stepmom.
You didn't have to tell her.
She
I
knew.
About her.
I did. So that's fantastic. Let's all right, dude. That's
so
great.
round 4, back to Sonoma. Another combined thing. Sonoma 21, 22 of August, whatever that Saturday, Sunday is. Same thing. And then I'm working on a September date, 25, 26.
To go 5 weekends.
5 weekends, 6 events.
Okay. And that was the feedback from the survey.
Two in SoCal, 2 in NorCal, 1 big drive away, right? Because we had a lot of people, Sean, that said adjacent states are just fine, right?
It was surprising the without getting the haters in on different facilities and everything else and stuff on it. Like I was really surprised by the
feedback
continuity on the feedback of like it'd be one thing if one guy said, "Hey, let's go to Pat's Acres," that would be great. But there were hey, what's your favorite track that we don't race at? And people were saying Pat's Acres, and you're like,
that question. That's good.
It was I can almost give you the. Let me see. I could probably look it up in my email.
Probably, but but it was one of those things where there were surprise answers on that because I mean you automatically assume based on like the Cal Speed bump and stuff that that's going to be everybody's favorite track to go to. Well, it's everybody's favorite track because it's close.
What was the finale location? Did you say that, Andy? I
haven't worked it out yet.
Okay. But end of September.
End of September 25, 26. We have to move an event, a Sonoma event that they had sort of planned. So I gotta ask them to move, which I have, and as long as they get that locked in, it's okay.
All right, then
so hold on. I'll give you my.
Hold on, Rob.
What is your favorite non-challenge track? Buttonwillow was 33% of the responses. Pat's Acres was 25% of the responses.
25% from challenge competitors and the California Rock Challenge competitors. So, right. I mean, of those, who's raced there?
Right.
Like, that's a baffling high percentage number for the current state of karting where, we haven't had a national program or a big regional program at Pat's in a long time. I mean,
and the number 1 challenge track was Sonoma. So the CRC is the number 1 challenge track and the next 2 non-challenge tracks. Like,
that's good.
According to once again, this is going to be the test of what karters ask for.
Yeah, that's it.
Right?
Here you go. It's yours.
Right? Yep. Whatever karters have asked for these 3 tracks.
Nice,
show you the world.
We're giving you these 3 tracks. If you don't show up to these 3 tracks, shut up forever.
Yeah, we've asked you. Yep.
And not only that, but I mean, what a great opportunity to run Pat's.
Like, dude.
I mean, obviously, Eggers has been a part of our program for a long time, but that track is legendary.
That's the race I'm most geeked for next year. That is the race. All right. I look at our schedule, right? So we have 8 races, right? 3 challenge weekends, 5 CRC weekends. Obviously, we would support Tri-C. We go to other races. But of the 8 weekends we put on, the 1 weekend I am the most geeked about is Pat's Acres CRC.
All right. Do you think we could get Efren to come back and race so that I can race Pat's and lose to him at Pat's?
You could get lapped.
I was not lapped by Efren. I was lapped, but I was not lapped by Efren. Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap this up, Andy. Let's ask you to kind of let all that Red Bull and vodka circulate through your body. What's your vision moving forward? Let's wrap it up with your vision for 21, for 22, whatever it may be.
Obviously, excuse me, getting challenged to the spot where it's going to be, right? I don't really have any need for a challenge in Americas to be 250. I just don't need it to be that unmanageable. Yeah. I think when series get to that point, they lose the personality of what they really are.
And if there's nothing we have, it's personality.
Personality, dude. Like
that's number one.
Trust me, as you know, people come race challenge for the experience. I mean, the racing, as you know, is as good as any national level race. There may not be 20 guys battling for the lead. There might be 5, but it's still the front of the field is the front of the field.
Yeah, it's great racing, yeah.
But the personality of the event is by far what gets people there.
The culture of the entire series, both series, is a big draw.
And by the way, Pierre, I asked Andy that question.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Whatever. According to his wife, I'm keeping him focused.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty good right now. Go. Finish.
Right, continue.
So, obviously, there's that. If we get to that 170, 180, I'm great, right? We get our cadet numbers into the mid-20s. I don't need to have 50. We get them into the mid-20s where everybody's having a good time. And I think we really showed all the cadets the program that we can put on. Obviously, they need to buy an additional motor to come race with us. Maybe I'll put together a little package where they can buy an engine.
Are we feeling some Crazy Andy?
You never know what's going to have the Crazy Andy, right? So
nice.
I'm going to get some Crazy Andy stuff over the next month, next couple of weeks. Maybe we'll put something together. If you register for all 3 rounds, maybe I'll give you a discounted engine and you could buy it and come race with us, right? What's another $1,200 for an engine if you're gonna come race, right? So there's that. And the CRC, I just wanted to build it into a solid regional program. Regional programs, if we get 100, 120 carts at every round, that's a solid regional program, right? Right. People look at numbers and they look, if it doesn't have 250, it doesn't count. No, that's not count. As you know, right? For clubs, it's 100. If clubs can get to 100, that's sustainable. If regional programs get to 120, 130, it's sustainable. If national programs get to 150, 160, 170, it's sustainable, right? I have no aspirations of ruling the world. I just want to know that there's a viable option for people. And we get to our regional program to 120, 130, and our national program, which is Challenge of the Americas, that 160, 170. Rock is going to be here to stay, which it is. It's proven to be a great program. My staff and I provide an unbelievable experience for people that they enjoy, which, by the way, I've added a member to my staff if you want to hear that at the very end.
Is it my replacement?
Nope. So I'm confident in what we provide and what we do that I'm excited. I mean, I'm super excited for the next couple of years, man.
All right, let's do the staff announcement, and then I'll wrap this thing up.
All right. So we all know all our go-karting staffs are getting older and older and older, right? Hence the 3 guys.
We all look good.
I know. I look amazing, right? But obviously, my race direction staff, right? They're both. I'm 50. They're both a few years older than me. I got Casey Cook a couple years ago to turn the flags. I got Tyler Brooks last year to jump in as an assistant race director. So we just handled it this week. I'm adding Callum Smith as another assistant race director. Another solid kid who
doesn't he still race S5?
Well, Callum's now 20. Callum is now married.
I know. That's good. That's really interesting.
And him and his wife Gianna are probably gonna start helping us out. And Callum's another super experienced set of eyes. I don't want to speak out of turn, but Callum has some things that may cause him to leave the seat, but he still wants to be involved. And to get young guys that really still want to be a part of it and are a super experienced set of eyes on track, I mean, that's golden for me, right? And as our program improves and gets bigger, we get to that 160, 170. I'm going to have to pull a guy like Mark Michione off the track to kind of be a steward because people are going to want to argue more. And,
what?
That's Mark's role, right? Mark is a great steward because he's a super calming influence on people. telling them that they shouldn't argue without really telling them they shouldn't argue. So it's the next step, right? Super. Oh, here we go. It's the next step, and it's the next evolution. I'm never going to do cameras because I don't really believe in cameras. I don't, right? And what people don't understand about cameras is $100,000 investment. It's 50 grand for the equipment and another 50 grand every year for a guy to run them every time he comes, right? Between the setup and the tear down and the blah, 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 right?
Plus,
and,
I don't really have the soccer mullet.
Right. Well, you don't have the soccer. Not yet. You used to.
Frosted tips. It was different.
You did.
Me and Kevin Williams.
We know in this happy hour who drank the hardest stuff, that's for sure. We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. Carts, parts, engines, tires, and tools. At sharkshifter.com, what you need is just a click away. We carry the biggest names in chassis, like Tony Kart and FA, DR Kart, CRG, and VLR. We have new chassis and all the parts you need. At sharkshifter.com, we also stock top quality replacement parts from Swift Components, like axles, sprockets, and hubs. We have the inventory you need for your stock Honda as well, from cylinders, heads, and engine parts to reeds, exhaust pipes, ignition covers, radiators, air filters, and air boxes. We build our own billet aluminum components as well, including motor mounts and clutch levers. Need to add to your toolbox? We offer alignment tools, brake, battery, and exhaust tools, tire gauges, and hand tools. Stop messing around getting your seat in the right position. We have a seat mounting system that makes it easy. Check the website for monthly specials. If you need it, we can get it to you fast. We ship the same day. Sharkshifter.com, your online source for carts and parts. It's time to put 2020 behind us and start planning for 2021. Get out your calendar and mark off the dates for the fastest growing Rock Cup program in the U.S., the Challenge of the Americas. It's our 14th season, and 2021 will be the biggest yet. We set a new series record at Cal Speed last February at 142 entries, and that's where we're kicking off the year on January 22 to 24. We're picking up where we left off, and it is going to be huge. As always, the challenge features 3 weekends at 3 of the finest tracks in the West. And for 2021, that's Cal Speed Karting in Fontana, the Phoenix Kart Racing Association in Glendale, and Sonoma in NorCal Wine Country. Our classes include Micro, Mini, Junior, Senior, and Masters Rock, our multi-manufacturer 100cc Junior, Senior, and Masters level, and our well-supported Rock Shifter and Rock Shifter Masters program. While other West Coast programs are shrinking, the Challenge of the Americas and Rock Cup are growing. Don't miss out on the fun, the atmosphere, and the hardcore racing of the Challenge. Prizes include tickets to the Rock Super Final in Italy and the Rock the Rio event in Las Vegas. The Challenge opener is less than 3 months away, so head to our website at challengekarting.com, pull out that calendar, and lock in the dates, and we'll see you in Fontana. Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network. Yeah, but you're a player.
Oh, yeah.
Mambo.
So,
dude, that's pretty good stuff right there, man. That's I like that. That's an interesting addition. I like that. That's going to be good. Well done.
For sure. Thank you. I'm fired up. I'm super excited, and I'm ready to get rolling, man. I wish the buildup is always so fast, and then it happens, and then at the end of the year, whether it's March 13th where we canceled a race this year, or whether it's like April 1 and I look back and go, holy shit, where did the time go?
That happened.
It's unbelievable how fast it goes. So we're working our ass off to get this done. We're going to have an unbelievable experience for everybody. We just hope we see all year. You're all here, and we're going to have a great time.
Well, listen, I'll tell you, man.
Let me just add that it was good to see you guys. Even though we have the group text going on that, involves drinking, booze, and, random shit talking and everything.
Food.
It was good,
Don't forget
good
the food.
Yeah, food.
Let the record show he was going to be on for the first 10 minutes and then bail out.
Yeah.
Cole's the one who is producing this thing. He could have cut me out at any time. He chose not to. Blame that guy.
It was the
Good
fire
job.
that kept you in.
The fire was calming. I kind of like that look, right? It was kind of nice. It was kind of nice. All
That's
right.
what I do.
Sean Buer, thank you so much. Andy Seesemann, thank you so much. Hey, our first ever happy hour with Howden primetime edition here on EK, and I appreciate it, buddy.
I'm
Thanks for
actually
joining us.
pretty stoked to be part of the first primetime on this because I was there at the beginning on the track and the random stars ones and the grabbing people as they walk by on, hey, let's talk to this guy and throw him in and give him a cocktail and just sit down and see what's up. And it's you guys have done a good job. I hate to say anything nice about you and Dave live, but going back to the adaptability, you guys jumped on the adaptability right away, and there's been some good content. And that I'm not a fanboy of the sport, but when I tune in and see Alfonso Ribeiro and some of these guys that that I haven't seen in a long time, where you're like, oh, that's really cool to see that person, and it's good to see you. And obviously, Rob does a good job interviewing people, and DC does a good job behind the camera / production / not Eric / all of those aspects. So it was good to see you guys, and I really appreciate you guys including me, and good job on the Face2Face.
Dude, I really appreciate that. Obviously, Go Racing Magazines is a huge part of the sport in California for many years. John, thank you so much, buddy.
California, what the hell? Why are you selling me short? International, bitch.
I'm going to go with California, dude. There was other magazines that took care of the rest of the country.
You're right. Card Sport ruled them all.
Sorry if we cost you so many viewers. You said that people usually get their short attention span about 45 minutes in, and we are an hour and 45 minutes in.
Longest podcast ever. Longest show ever in EK and history. Well done.
Most funnest.
Well,
there we go.
Had we been inside the trailer, we had emptied the shelf out by now.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right, Sean, thank you. Andy, thank you. Cole, get rid of these guys. Boom. David Cole, did you expect anything less?
No, when we were joking around with the 90-minute thing, I'm like, nah, there's no way we're going to get there. But Andy went on a little long, and Sean actually contributed, which is the first for us. We've not seen him contribute to anything. Really? He steals my own photos from race weekend. So it's like, and I think the only thing he does well is take a couple videos and maybe a podium shot, one or two.
I know this for sure. I should have went to the washroom before we started because it's close right now. I'm into my third beer. So, dude, thank you so much, David, for producing this. I know it's 10:45.
That's my bedtime.
Past your bedtime, 7:45 here in California. I haven't had dinner yet. I know we need to eat some dinner. Big thank you again to Andy Seesemann from the Challenge of the Americas and the California Rock Championship, FTK Promotions. Sounds like it's going to be a big year for the Challenge for sure. Great end last year in February at a premature end to the program with those record numbers at Cal Speed. Back there in January to fire things off again. Karting on the whole, David, everybody would talk to has been really, really strong. Everywhere we went, big numbers, right? USPKS, Brickyard, all fantastic races. Cup Karts North America as well. The sport, I think people really kind of rallying behind it after COVID, saying, you know what, we love our sport. We want to keep going racing. And we'll do more of these happy hour with Howdens for sure.
Yeah, like Andy said, though, the momentum, that's and the buildup. Like we're waiting because, as you said, the numbers were massive in 2020. So we're hoping to see that continue in 2021.
Folks, thank you so much for joining us here. The longest show ever. I'm almost an hour and 3/4. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. That is David Cole. I'm Rob Howden. Book it.